dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky. This is WYNT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. An eastern Kentucky man is doing his part to help a family who was hit hard by the flooding this past spring. On top of that, their father died shortly after the floods. Jim Stratman has the story of how that man is giving the currency of hope.
A natural disaster can destroy a lot: homes, possessions, and hope. Austin Shuck with the Appalachian Pioneer Program says he wants to try to give that back.
Having had that feeling of helplessness, I was like, all right, there's a lot of people in my community that are having this sense of needing help.
In the spring of 2021, Breathitt County was hit hard when floodwaters ripped through that community. Kathy Salyers had her home destroyed. Shortly after that, her husband died.
We did a music event in March, and we were able to raise almost $7,000. So as soon as we got that, I started talking to Kathy and trying to set up an opportunity for us to meet.
Shuck presented Salyers with a check for $6,550 and committed to sending her college-age daughter a $500 gift card to help with expenses.
I just wanted to let her know, like, hey, there's some people in your community that care about you. They want to be there for you. And even though you're going through this moment of tragedy, like, here's some hope.
Shuck tells me that he can relate in some way to what Salyers is going through. Back in 2012, a tornado destroyed his family's home and all of their possessions. But the community rallied behind them, and that's what drives him today.
And the moment when the community showed up to be there for us, really, I told myself in that moment that no matter what, at some point I would pay it forward, whatever I had to do.
This donation to Salyers is just part of his mission to pay it back.
Maybe by us doing this, like, something will happen in your community and you'll remember that time when someone went above and beyond to be there for you, and then you can be there for them.
Reporting in Lexington, Jim Stratman, WKYT.
Kentucky State Police are looking forward to several events to help folks in their communities. One of those was in Richmond today, where troopers were set up at Walmart to raise money for their Shop with a Trooper event, raffling off a big screen television, along with taking up donations for the various needs in central and southern Kentucky.
And, you know, troopers in their communities, they take roughly to 120 to 130 kids that might not get a Christmas. You know, there's a need every year. It doesn't matter if there's a pandemic, a disaster.
Donations can also be dropped off at any Kentucky State Police post to help with Shop with a Trooper events. Today's raffle in Richmond was also to assist with posts in Richmond and London, but it was not the only fundraising event going on. We take a look at another event KSP is hosting aimed at feeding local families in Pike County in our next half hour.
Beautiful sunset around the region again today as we continue to see a few of those high clouds work into the western sky from our camera at the Mountain Parkway at Slay. Now this is kind of facing the other direction, but notice you can see some of those yellows, oranges, the reds in the sky as we continue to see some of those high clouds work in. A beautiful sunset there. I-75 at Mount Vernon, a similar story. Traffic picking up a little bit on I-75 at this hour. We've been watching reports from that area all day long. A little bit closer to London, though, usually. Temperatures still in those mid-50s, though, sneaking a few 40s in there now. Harlan's at 49. Jonesville's at 48. As usual, Wise is cooler than everybody else at 43 degrees. Satellite and radar showing those high clouds beginning to work into the western part of the region, but you have to go up into northern Illinois before you run into any showers. Unfortunately, those are heading in our direction as we head into tomorrow. So keep that WYM2 weather app handy, especially if you are making your way around for Thanksgiving. We're into those 40s tonight, upper 30s by the morning hours. Notice those temperatures rise quick once we get into the morning. I'll have the latest on when rain returns as well coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, thank you very much, Evan. An East Tennessee man is in jail after police say he pointed an AK-47 at a Little Caesars employee. Sam Luther talked to the workers who were there and has more.
Disbelief that someone would do that over a 10-minute wait on a $6 pizza.
November 5th was Kimberly Merle's first day at work at Little Caesars in Cedar Bluff. She was just learning the ropes when police say Charles Doty Jr. walked in and ordered a pepperoni pizza. He was told it would be a 10-minute wait. After demanding a free order of crazy bread, then eating it, police say Doty went to his car and grabbed an AK-47.
He points the gun up, points it at me. Where's my pizza? I want my pizza now. Fear and just like disbelief that this is happening right now.
Kimberly then ran to the back of the store and told her boyfriend Noah Beeler what was happening. Beeler says he intervened, speaking to Doty.
Calm down, no need to get hostile. And literally right when I start walking up there, and I'm like, bro, what in God's turn is going through your head? He moves his hand off of the trigger and onto the barrel, puts it on safety, and is like, don't get aggravated. It's like, man, leave.
Beeler says Doty left without any more trouble. He was arrested just days ago, facing multiple aggravated assault charges, and what police say all started over a 10-minute wait for a pizza. Kimberly wants to remind people.
We are not always hot and ready. Never freaking listen to that. We are not always hot and ready.
Well, police have found the gun that set off panic when it was fired inside an Atlanta airport this past weekend. Officers say they found the weapon in a trash can at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Investigators believe a suspect identified as Kenny Wells brought the gun to the airport and was flagged for a second search before grabbing the gun, which then discharged. Atlanta police say no one was hurt by the gunfire Saturday, but 3 people were injured in the resulting panic. Wells ran from the scene and remains on the loose. From a scene of panic to a story of new beginnings after a Delta Airlines flight landed with an extra passenger on board earlier this month. The reason? A woman went into labor in mid-flight and delivered her baby on the plane. Liliana Castaneda says she was not due until around December 23rd, but her daughter had other plans. Luckily, there was a nurse on board when she began having contractions and coached her through the whole ordeal as they worked to delay the birth until the plane was on the ground.
He was like, yeah, the baby girl is coming. It's on its way. And he was like, don't try to push, because if you push more, the baby will come out. So I hold those contractions for like 3 hours and 30 minutes on the way here.
Back on the ground, Atlanta firefighters were getting ready at the airplane's gate. Thankfully, the delivery went well. Mother and baby are both safe and healthy. A fire department in Virginia is hoping to send a large donation to West Africa that could save a lot of lives there. The Charlottesville Fire Department is trying to send this fire engine to Winneba, Ghana. But as you can imagine, shipping the emergency vehicle is not cheap. Officials say they need around $7,000 to make it happen. The truck is worth about $25,000, but a team in Winneba says it would be worth so much more to the people in that community.
We are in a developing country, and this is a developed country. And so things that they have here cannot be compared to things that they have back home.
The Charlottesville Winneba Foundation is planning a fundraising concert in December to raise money to cover the cost. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, as you're prepping the big holiday meal, we'll have some tips to make sure everything is cooked and stored correctly.
And rain chances increase for Thanksgiving, but what about some wintry shenanigans for Black Friday? I'll have the answer to that question on the way.